Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam. Let's take a look at today's stories. In Los Angeles, thieves left thousands of damaged packages strewn across railway tracks. The case is under investigation. Joining the California exodus is a sticker company. The president says he doesn't like the state's policies, high taxes, and social issues, so they are moving to Utah. It's not the Wild West, but it certainly was a train robbery. Thousands of opened and damaged packages were found strewn across railway tracks in East Los Angeles. Authorities say thieves stole them from trains. We hear more from NTD's John Fredericks.
Just 3.5 miles from northeast of downtown Los Angeles, railroad cars slowly move along the tracks in the neighborhood of Lincoln Heights. But what lines on the ground is shocking. Thousands upon thousands of empty and shredded boxes stolen from the cargo containers. Destroyed boxes that once contained the hopeful deliveries of snowboarding boots, various medical supplies, and even ripped open boxes of automobile oil sit within arm's reach of our television crew. One doorway to a cargo container gently hangs open with some of the contents still inside, drilled open by looters in the early hours of the morning.
They jump on these trains, these locks that these containers have are really, sometimes they're plastic seals. You know, the locks aren't really strong, you know. They don't care if the train's moving or not. They jump on the trains, pop the lock, and just start grabbing whatever they see.
On top of customers missing their items, neighbors in the area are also concerned about these robberies. One woman remaining anonymous and concerned for her safety shared that a local man was killed by transients responsible for the robberies just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another neighbor mentioned that though crime has always been around the railroad tracks, things violently increased over the coronavirus pandemic. Witnesses in the area also stated that the demographic for the crime was broad and included women and out-of-school teenagers, all of whom conceal themselves in masks and hoodies to seal their identities. For those still awaiting packages, there might be the unfortunate chance that it has been intercepted while making its way in and out of Los Angeles. Los Angeles city officials, along with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, have mentioned they are stepping in to investigate. This is John Fredericks, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Another company is leaving California. This time, it's a beloved local sticker company. NTD's Eileen Ang hears why from the company's president.
Since 1979, Mrs. Grossman's paper company has been producing stickers and creative products for the young and old worldwide. Mrs. Grossman's son, Jason Grossman, is now running the company. He says the past 2 years have been challenging with pandemic lockdowns, causing them to lose 30% in sales.
I'm not happy with the way the government's going right now. I'm tired of the taxation. I'm tired of all the crises we have, roads being one of the big ones I have.
The state's policies and high taxes also contributed to his decision to move.
And them just throwing money at it, taxing me more, and I just don't feel I'm getting any bang for my buck. I feel I'm just a piggy bank to them.
Now the Bay Area-based company is moving from Petaluma to Kanab, Utah, a small town north of the Arizona state line. Grossman says he has a summer home there, but he's not planning for retirement.
I'm actually doing the exact opposite. I'm going to keep the company going. I bought a warehouse down there for, honestly, probably almost 75% cheaper than here. And I'm going to do the stickers in there, but I'm also going to open a museum featuring Americana, Western history, and I have a large muscle car collection. So we're going to do something we enjoy to do.
His 89-year-old mother still lives in California, so he will be back to visit. He's planning to pass the company to his stepson. They are currently packing up. The moving trucks will arrive Monday to drive to Utah and unpack on Wednesday. Until things settle down, the California store will remain in operation for a few more months. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
Prosecutors are charging 4 suspects involved with the death of an LAPD officer. The cop and his girlfriend were reportedly house shopping when they were robbed. Federal prosecutors have charged 4 people in connection with the robbery and killing of an off-duty Los Angeles police officer. The 4 suspects, between the ages from 18 to 34, are allegedly tied to a street gang known as Florencia 13, or F-13, according to an FBI announcement on Thursday.
As you know, an FBI agent swore out and federal prosecutors filed a criminal complaint charging 3 members and an associate of Los Angeles street gang with violating a federal racketeering statute for their roles in the robbery and fatal shooting earlier this week of Officer Arroyos.
Officer Fernando Arroyos, age 27, was fatally shot on Monday at about 9:15 p.m. Authorities said he and his girlfriend were house shopping when the suspects approached them with guns. At some point during the robbery, they exchanged gunfire.
It's been nonstop day and night for the last 4 days, and we have made enormous progress.
Arroyos' girlfriend was not physically injured. The four are charged with violent crime and racketeering, which carries a potential death penalty or minimum sentence of life in federal prison without parole. The LA County Sheriff's Department and FBI are continuing their investigation. David Lamb, NTD News, California. A steep Omicron surge in California is forcing some parents to rethink their kids' education. Some parents are pulling their children out of school. One mother says safety measures for in-person classes are not in place. Let's take a closer look.
Like a rising number of parents, Yelena Wheeler of Burbank, Los Angeles County has decided to homeschool her 2 young children amid a surge of the Omicron variant.
It's just sending kids to a chickenpox party at this point. And even though, even from the CDC saying everyone's going to get it, do we all have to get it right now at this point in time and to tax our healthcare system even more?
Wheeler and her partner are both health workers. Their kids, one in kindergarten and the other in 3rd grade, have been off school for 2 weeks. They haven't started online learning or any other alternative education.
What do we have to do in the chat?
While the two are playing in the backyard, Wheeler voices her complaint.
We did everything imaginable, and now the school districts are like, we don't have funds, we're not going to do mandatory testing, and so come send your child, we can't guarantee it's safe.
Earlier, a group of parents held a 7-hour meeting with their school district, demanding the board impose mandatory testing. Wheeler was among them, but she says no agreement was reached.
We understand nothing is guaranteed safe, but it's one thing if all other districts were not doing mandatory testing, but one of our biggest districts right next door to us, 3 blocks away from here, LAUSD, has mandatory testing, and we don't.
Her message to the district is to put students first.
It's not about how much money you're going to lose by postponing school or turning everything online. It's about the actual health of your children. And guess what? Sick kids don't want to learn.
The mother says she won't send her kids back to school until proper safety measures are in place.
Make testing mandatory, have proper PPE for all staff and all students, and that's the only way that we could truly safely come back.
Wheeler says she has yet to receive a letter from the school district about her children's truancy, but other parents have received them, plus the threat of fines if their children don't return to school.
In a news conference earlier today, Santa Clara County health officials discussed priority COVID testing in light of limited testing availability.
Our current demand far exceeds the supply of tests that we have. And so that is the spirit for the guidance that we're providing about, so when should you get tested, and when should you use which kind of test?
Dr. Cody recommends taking an antigen test after isolation from COVID. It applies to people who already had COVID within 90 days who need to test again. She said the county sees a lower number of Omicron cases, but is seeing a rise in hospitalizations. On Thursday, Virgin Orbit launched a rocket to space from a jumbo jet flying out over the Pacific Ocean. The company launched a rocket to space from the jet flying off the coast.
Cosmic Girl orbit base on the S-turn maneuver.
The jet, known as Cosmic Girl, took off from California's Mojave Air and Spaceport with the Virgin Orbit's rocket tucked under its left wing at 1:39 p.m. on Thursday. An hour into the modified Boeing 747's flight, the 70-foot-long booster rocket detached and ignited at an altitude of about 35,000 feet, hurtling toward the stars.
I mean, one of our satellites that is going up today will be monitoring agriculture and crops around the world and so on.
All 7 satellites were safely delivered to a low Earth orbit.
And the tremendous thing about using a 747 is we can put them into any orbit from anywhere in the world.
Among the launched satellites, one is for the U.S. Defense Department, the other is for the Polish company Sat Revolution, and another is for the international company Spire Global. This is the third launch carrying customer satellites. The first launch carrying multiple satellites into orbit was in January last year. Virgin Orbit was founded by British billionaire Richard Branson in 2017 in Long Beach, California. The company is targeting the space market for launching small satellites. Now they are planning to run 6 more space missions this year and expect to launch from the United Kingdom for the first time.
On Wednesday evening, the Highway Patrol rescued a parachuter who crashed into a mountain peak in Yolo County. One of them was seriously injured and airlifted to an ambulance. On Wednesday, a parachuter crashed into a rocky cliff on a mountaintop, rendering him unconscious. Fortunately, another parachuter landed near the crash scene and called 911 for rescue. CHP officers flew in on a helicopter to lift the unconscious parachuter to safety. The 23-year-old parachuter was on Glasscock Peak, tangled in his chute with serious injuries. The CHP dispatched a helicopter at 4:30 p.m. CHP firefighter Sean Bouya said it was lucky that they arrived when they did, as it was at most 15 minutes before nightfall. According to the CHP, the injured parachuter was transported to a Kaiser Permanente in Vacaville. Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup. Chicago backcourt mates DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are both in the top 3 of All-Star Game vote getters at guard in the Eastern Conference, while Stephen Curry remains number 1 overall by a large margin. Golden State's Curry leads the fan voting by more than 77,000 votes over LeBron James with 4.46 million in the latest update released Thursday by the NBA. James is number 2 with 4.39 million votes. DeRozan leads Eastern Conference guards with 2.97 million votes, well ahead of Atlanta's Trae Young, 1.59 million. LaVine is in a tight battle for third with 1.44. James Harden is only 9,300 votes behind. Kevin Durant leads frontcourt vote-getters in the Eastern Conference with 4.09 million votes. Giannis Antetokounmpo is number 2 with 3.81 million. James is well ahead of Denver's Nikola Jokic for Western Conference frontcourt voting by more than 1.37 million votes. Fan voting concludes on January 22nd, so get in your ballots. With a month to go before Super Bowl 56 kicks off in Los Angeles, NFL officials said on Thursday the game will be played before a full house at SoFi Stadium, despite a surge in COVID-19 cases.
Los Angeles hosted the very first Super Bowl in 1967, and this is going to be really a watershed moment in LA's comeback story from the pandemic as we host Super Bowl 56 here at this incredible new stadium.
Fans who attend the game at the new 70,240-seat venue in Inglewood on February 13th will be required to show proof of vaccination or a negative test and wear masks when not eating or drinking, but no capacity limit will be set. The game will follow LA County COVID-19 regulations, so fans in attendance can focus on enjoying themselves.
We hosted Super Bowl last year in Tampa, obviously to limited capacity, so to do it now after an amazing season, it's been such an exciting season, the games have been amazing, so to cap off with a full capacity Super Bowl here at this unbelievable stadium, I mean, we couldn't be more excited.
And since it is Hollywood, the stars of entertainment will be out in full force, starting with a halftime show that will feature LA rappers Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, as well as Eminem and R&B singer Mary J. Blige. Goaltender Igor Shesterkin returned from COVID-19 protocol to make 37 saves as New York defeated host San Jose. Chris Kreider scored twice, including an empty netter, and Braden Schneider also tallied in his NHL debut for New York. Kreider, who ranked second in the NHL with 12 power play goals this season, scored the first shorthanded marker of his 10-year career. Adin Hill stopped 28 of 30 shots for the Sharks, who had a 3-game winning streak snapped. Rangers 3, Sharks 0. Mikey Anderson, Victor Arvidsson, and Anze Kopitar scored with 1:23 apart in the third period to help Los Angeles beat visiting Pittsburgh. Kopitar finished with 2 goals and an assist, Sean Dursey had a goal and 2 assists, Dustin Brown had a goal and an assist, and Jonathan Quick made 27 saves for the Kings, who have won 5 of 6. Alex Iafallo and Trevor Moore added 2 assists apiece. Chris Letang and Radim Zahorna scored, while Tristan Jerry made 39 saves for the Penguins, who had won 11 of 12. Kings 6, Penguins 2. As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, feel free to let us know. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm David Lamb. Have a wonderful evening.